Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cool cats and groovy souls, welcome to the ultimate time machine of talk. It's a blast from the past, a vibe from the vault, and a journey through the jams and the stories that shaped the decades. You're listening to the Blast from the Past podcast. Wow, oh wow. Man, it's been a minute. And listen, I am so excited you've tuned in because this is season 3. Man, it's hard to believe that we've been through 17 different episodes in our 3rd season. So I appreciate you guys for listening. Today is going to be a special day. I got some really, really special people with me. I got Mr. Brandon James. Brandon, say hello.
How we doing, guys?
He was on our podcast. It wasn't too long ago. We were talking about wrestling in the 90s. Remember that?
Yep, 90s wrestling, Attitude Era. Let's go.
That was always a good part of that.
Yep.
So, Brandon, what you been up to lately?
Not much. Just moved to Florida.
Now in the Sunshine State.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get your license yet? Is your license say Florida?
No.
So he ain't official.
No.
He's got to be official.
No.
Can't get that Floridian license.
I actually got, unfortunately...
Welcome to Florida.
I unfortunately got picked out to have my car repoed day one.
Man.
And then 2 days ago, somebody comes and cuts off my catalytic converter.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Welcome to Daytona,
Yeah,
right? Like, welcome to the Sunshine State, the best state in the world. Come down and get your stuff stolen.
Yeah. Come down here. You're guaranteed to get robbed.
One part or the other. No matter where you're at, you're in a really good neighborhood, too. That's what's really crazy about it. That is just insane. That's insane. All right, so we've also got a second special guest tonight. I'm so happy to have Brandon here. Brandon, you want to go by BJ?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
BJ for sure.
So BJ stands for what? Brandon James, right?
Yeah.
We'll make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, we can't use all my initials because it's Brandon Lee James. If you tone that down, it's Bulge.
Oh, I kind of like Bulge.
BJ or Bulge.
Bulge.
Whatever you guys.
When did that start? When would that nickname come in?
Whenever the middle school kids figured it out.
Man, middle school kids, man, they can barely spell anyway, and when they do spell, they come up with crap like that. Oh, man,
I'm like, Bulge? Damn,
Bulge.
man.
That's all right. His Bulge
I thought
is
it was
what
bad enough for BJ. And then they're just like, no, here's Bulge.
Yeah, no, BJ's got. We'll stick with BJ. That's cool. And we got another special guest with us, all the way down from Colorado. Everybody, say hello to Mr. Matt Cox. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How's everybody doing out there?
Oh man, I tell you what, it's so awesome having these guys here hanging out with us. It's kind of different. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of off tune a little bit. I'm looking around, and both these guys got these beards going. I feel like I'm in a freaking episode of Duck Dynasty with these two people. It's definitely crazy. Crazy. That's all right. It's all good though. So Matt, you flew in yesterday, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about your flight. You like to fly a lot or no?
I would prefer to drive, but flying when you live 27 hours away is preferable.
That's it's definitely not a nap kind of jump in the car and drive. Okay. So how long did it take you to fly?
About 13 hours.
Good God.
Started at 4 in the morning and got here 7:30 your time. So
wow.
Yeah, 13
Wow.
hours.
So it was so obviously multiple stops. So where'd you hang out? And it's always crazy about flights, right? So one thing that you always got to think about is when you fly, it's always going to send you, unless you have a nonstop flight guarantee, you're going to be going all over the country, even if it's a wrong direction. I don't understand that. But what places did you hit this time?
They took me to Dallas first, which is south, then up to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then straight down here. So like a big zigzag all over.
Wow, it's like that's weird. Yeah. I mean, that's weird, but I get it. I understand it. They're trying to make the most out of the fuel and everything like that. I get it, but man, that becomes a pain in the butt. So when you're at the airport, and obviously that's 3 different gates, right? You're trying to remember 3 different gates.
Yep.
Man.
So
how long was the holdover? Like a lot of hours or no?
The first one was really short, almost too short. I almost missed my flight.
See, that would scare me.
Yeah, it was.
That's why I do nonstop, because I just never know.
And then they switched the terminals on me without switching it on my phone apps. I went to go to the bathroom, and I'm like at the terminal. I'm like, boarding's in 5 minutes, and I'm like, where's my plane?
Right, like it's not. Yeah, it's going to Canada, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I had to jump 2 terminals over.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was.
Well, at least it was in the same section, though, right?
No, I had
Oh.
to like take
Oh,
the
wow.
tram over and.
So you're like Home Alone in it across the freaking airport.
Yeah, I was a little
Oh,
baby
man.
panic attack along the way.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You know, and then I think that's one of the reasons why I will usually pay extra, just a little extra to get that nonstop flight. Because number one, did you get your packages? Like, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything
And so,
went really
do you
well.
do check bags, or do you always just do like the carry on?
I just did the carry-on, and it worked out really great. And the last flight was awesome because I'm a card member, so they bumped me up to first class for free.
Oh man. Okay. So you're sitting up there, you're sipping on wine and
Yeah, it's good.
dining and stuff. And we need to go fly with Matt. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, shit.
We need to go to
I
like
have to
Paris.
I have to buy 2 seats for my left ass cheek. So
Yeah, you're a double doozers, right, Edford?
Yeah.
That's every time I do it too. And and no matter what, those little rests, they come up a little bit, but they don't come up all the way, right?
Yeah.
And you sit down, you get a surprise. Every single time I'm
So-
like, wait, what was that?
actually, I figured this out. So underneath the left hand side, like if you're on the aisle,
Yeah.
you can push this little metal piece, and it will
Tip of the day.
it will raise the thing.
The armrests on it.
It's supposed to be the armrest. It's supposed to be down, whenever you're doing landing. blah,
Right,
blah,
right.
blah,
Yeah, they
all
always
that.
do the little check where the woman's walking
But-
around with the glasses.
But let me tell you,
It's like, sir, can you
it
please put that
will-
down, please?
as a fat guy, it will make you so much comfortable.
Heck yeah. And I man spread. When I'm on the airport and I'm on an airplane, I man spread. Like,
Yeah,
my legs are just
yeah.
flying
I'm
open.
just
Like I gotta,
I'm just like, man.
as if, I'm just chilling, and the guy beside me is
at
like,
it.
really, I can't do that. I'm like, well, I guess you're not doing it because I'm bigger than you. So
Yeah.
that's usually what happens in that circumstance.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, flights are fun. I mean, I love flying myself. We travel a lot, obviously, with the channel and stuff. But one thing I will have to say, what is, so long story short, do you like long flights? What's the longest flight you've ever been on, either one of you?
Like I said, mine has been Denver,
Denver,
So,
Colorado?
yeah.
Okay.
but
Might be flying in Colorado, but me.
But they do this, or Washington, but they do the stops.
Like Seattle, like Washington? Well, that's pretty far.
Yeah.
Okay, that's further than Colorado.
Yeah, I went to Seattle, Washington.
Man, that's
Not
not a fan.
Not a fan of the city, but
So how long was that flight? Was that
Beautiful
from
area.
from Indiana?
Mhm.
And how long was that flight? Was it nonstop?
So no, it was. We had a stopover.
Florida.
Like 4 and 4.
Make you come all the way back to Florida and fly over there. That's
No,
some
they
of the
did.
crazy stuff they do.
It was 4 and 4, and it was 4. We landed in Kansas, and then the rest of the way.
Yeah, beautiful Kansas. Everybody loves Kansas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking gore.
The plains of that's just Tornado Alley. That's what the Kansas is. If you're a Twister fan, that's about the only fan that lives in Kansas
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a pretty decent flight.
Pretty
and then
sure Helen Hunt still lives out there.
yeah, I'm sure she does too. Her house is usually tore up pretty good from the tornadoes. When I was in Olathe, Kansas, I went up there and I did some training with work.
Yeah.
And while I was there, no lie, I was there. And if I remember correctly, it was in June, which is like peak time for like tornadoes, like the summer weather, and it's like really bad or whatever. And I'm getting in there, and I've never been to a hotel that has a tornado shelter. Like
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
No, you just,
I'm like, you mean to tell me the hotel I'm staying is not safe enough in a tornado? Like, you want me to come off the 14th floor
No.
to come down and sit in a bunker underneath the hotel?
they go, listen, come from the 14th floor
Don't use the elevator.
and climb in the
Don't use the elevator though. Just in case fire goes out.
climb in the ground floor bathroom.
Yeah, right. Forget that. Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Also, put a desk over your head.
Yeah. Get under the
If
desk.
you can find one.
Yeah, all 350 rooms together. Go down there and hide together.
Oh,
have
shit,
marshmallows and freaking chocolate
Isn't that
s'mores.
crazy though? They used to tell you like,
Well, while I was there, like going back to that story, like while I was there was a Walmart and a Home Depot right probably within a quarter mile from where I'm at. I could see the Home Depot from my hotel, and the Home Depot had the roof ripped off of it.
Yeah.
Like the whole top of it. I'm like, what the hell? Where did I sign up for this? I'm supposed to be doing training. I'm not going to be dying in the middle of Kansas, of all places.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather die somewhere nice, but not Kansas.
yeah,
It was crazy.
But growing up our age, they're like, hey, go to your go under your school desk.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
be all
Tornado's
right.
coming. Yeah. Yeah. Go
You'll
go
be
underneath your
okay.
desk that's not mounted or anything to the ground.
How about no?
Full of pencils and sharp objects. Go ahead and get
Yeah.
underneath that table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Think
was,
that's gonna work? I don't think so.
I was taught to lay in a ditch, put my
Like-
hands over my head.
Right. Yeah.
That's gonna do something.
Yeah. Yeah. That just means you're going to be sucked up
try to
faster than
use-
everybody else.
Trying to use this logic you guys are trying to teach me.
Jesus. No, I mean, and it's crazy because I'm pretty sure that's part of school. When you're in Indiana and you're in Midwest,
They do that.
you have those tornado classes. And you remember the sirens?
Yeah.
We don't have sirens in Florida.
Right.
Like, I don't know, they just don't care or they can't afford it. Like, I don't know why, but we do not have a tornado. If there's
they
a
should.
tornado alarm, you get a text message. I was driving to work like 4 months ago, and I got a text message that a freaking tornado was hitting near the area I was in. And I'm like, that's cool, but you tell me I can't get on my phone while I'm driving.
like-
Yeah, that's what I was
8,
gonna
2,
ask.
Right.
You're supposed
So,
to know
like,
that
how
when
am I
you're
supposed-
driving.
So I guess I'll check it when I'm dead. Like, that's what's going to happen.
It's like
crazy.
8, 2, 3, 5, 6, 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you look at it and you're like,
Yeah, tornado.
Yeah, it says
In 5
you're
minutes.
about to die from a tornado.
Category 13.
How do you feel?
It's crazy. But there's like literally no sound,
Can you give
no
a,
warning.
Can you give a rating on a scale from
Right.
1 to 10?
Did this help save your life? Give me a 1 to 5.
Like, what the
5 being
fuck?
you're alive, 0 means
Yeah.
you did not, you
So
died.
Stupid.
No, another thing too, and this is kind of
do that.
right. And another thing too, how many like me myself when I'm in my vehicle, I don't listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Like I'm usually, Spotify.
If I drive really far,
I'm listening
I
to the
do.
podcast, something like that, maybe. Very seldom do I listen to radio. So here's the thing: the radio is also a huge tool when you're about to die in a tornado, right? So it's going off, and you know in advance, oh crap, something's going on, right? You know that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So that was an excellent indicator that you potentially could die,
Yeah.
right? You would know. And when you're listening to like Spotify, like 90s Britney Spears, you don't really know that. And then you see,
You're like-
you don't know it till you already hit it. Like you're in a hailstorm and there's a category right in front of you. And it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one that just listens to Spotify and stuff. So that's good. They need to create something that, I mean, I get it. Again, going back to the text message, but I don't hold my phone when I'm driving. Or at least criminally, I'm not saying I do that for sure.
Yep.
But it is what it is. And what about you, Matt? What's the longest flight you can remember?
Indianapolis to Germany.
Holy cow.
I couldn't tell you how long it was.
Yeah.
It was restless, like get up and pace the hallway kind of
Wow.
flight.
Yeah. Was it, do you feel like it was more than like 12 hours?
It feels it was like about that. It was
Yeah.
it was long. First time we flew over, this was for my deployment.
Right, right.
We had the whole plane for our company, so we had lots of room to stretch out. But I remember it was like
That's a long time.
it's a lot of grunts in a confined place for 12 hours with nothing to do.
Yeah. Like, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something. It
And
got
we-
a little entertaining there at the end.
Yeah. You almost have to entertain yourself at that point.
Yep.
So you can get on your phone and do anything.
Well,
It's
we didn't have those back then.
Right, I know, and that's even crazier. Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's what this podcast is back, man. I mean, you go back
Right.
and years ago, man, we didn't have phones. We didn't have
Remember, we're old.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of us is going to be, I don't know if I'm going to be 43 or 44, but some of us are getting up there, and it's like you go back and you look at it, and yeah, the world has changed a lot in the last few years. Even in the last 10 years, it's changed a lot. But yeah, that's a long time. I think the longest flight, again, I was in California flying to Los Angeles. I think it's like a 6.5 hour flight. So that wasn't too bad. That was the first time I actually had a full meal in a flight. Like, I don't know why, but they offered a full meal in a flight. And I thought that was kind of cool. But I know that we're looking into going to Singapore. And we're looking at probably in the next fall, not this coming fall, but probably about 18 months or so. And that is almost a 24-hour flight straight.
Wow.
No nonstop, straight through.
That's
I didn't know they
crazy.
could fly. Like, I didn't know you had a plane that could fly that long.
Can you sit still that long?
I don't think I can.
Yeah, that's a long time to sit still.
Yeah, and you know how much a first class ticket for that plane is, by the way? $12,000 apiece.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I better
no.
buy the plane. The plane better come home with me.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't think you
crazy.
Get a car.
Better be a pocket in the back.
Right. Yeah, you better have all of it.
in the back.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about planes. Like, planes is a really good subject. Have you ever had a scary flight? I got my own, but y'all ever had a scary flight? Brandon, let's go with you. You ever had a flight where you're just like, oh my God, I need to get off this plane?
Yeah, like I said, so my buddy, which he won't care to be mentioned, but Joe Morrow.
What's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe? He worked for Delta Airlines, right? So we got standby all the time. And so we would
And that's
go-
where you're pretty much waiting for the flight to be available and you can jump in and kind of
Yep.
grind with whoever's going.
there only has to be like available seats, right? So that's what we were doing. And we ended up going, we circled around. It was here in Florida, but we circled around, and that was like the whole thing with the 15,000, like same thing.
Oh, like dropping 15,000?
The same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And when you drop like that, you like, especially when you're in a plane, it's not like you can open a window.
Dude, you're gonna
Like you don't look out the window, you don't see. Oh, I've seen that pocket coming. No, you had no idea.
You lose it.
Like, yeah, no, I'm sure.
You're-
It's like
you're
snakes on a
like-
plane. I want to get these snakes off this plane. Like it's crazy. It's scary.
And on top of that, all the little like oxygen masks.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they pop out. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I'd
Yeah,
freak
that
out.
would be the part that scared me.
Yeah, I would be. I would be like, where?
We went-
I want to talk to the pilot now.
We went.
Oh my
and then
god,
all those popped out, and he's like,
I've never had that happen.
"No, it's okay."
I would freak out. That one I'd lose
we
it.
just hear it. We just hit an air bubble, and I was like, "Are you sure?"
Jesus, that's a hell of a bubble. That's like
Yeah,
no, that's like jumping portals in time.
15,000 feet.
Like you get there and you're,
That's
everybody is
that's-
12 years older than you. Like that's the kind of stuff that would happen, right?
15,000 feet's a lot of feet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
You know?
Freaking A, that's like mountain stuff.
Yeah. So it was crazy, but yeah, that's probably the craziest one I've had. All the ones to Washington, Colorado, different airline. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
That's crazy. Maybe, yeah. And what airline you said? It was Delta?
Yep.
Ooh, I remind myself not going Delta.
He worked for Delta.
Does he still work for him?
No.
Good. 'Cause obviously, they be hitting pockets in the sky, and they need to stop doing that. Matt, how about you, man? Have you ever gotten on a plane and then just had something happen, and you're just like, holy crap, I do not want to be on this plane?
Not on the plane. I was been thinking about it. I can't think of anything on a plane, but I almost got hit by a helicopter, and that was kind of scary.
Jesus Christ.
That's kinda similar.
That's something big, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Holy cow! And they've always and is it just okay? I'm going to say it. I don't want to like bring any kind of the news and negativity out there, but man, it is 2025. Have you not heard so many freaking plane crashes, plane wrecks, and helicopter? Like I've never
I think
seen
it's been
so much.
helicopter and plane.
It's crazy.
It's been consistent. I was a little apprehensive.
I'm like,
honestly.
maybe there's more pockets in the air. I don't know, but something is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Everywhere. It is crazy. And maybe, I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and I think maybe it might be one of those scenarios where maybe we're so tuned into media now. And like before you didn't hear about those things that happened.
Right.
But now maybe every time you hear it, it becomes news. Like, oh, this is another one. Oh, this is another one. And then all of a sudden it's kind of like a chain reaction. Maybe that's what it is. Sometimes it's a small plane. Sometimes it's a big plane, depending on the scenario.
So my thing was like, maybe that's what's fucked up. Is that was the first pocket. Now there's a bunch of pockets.
Right. Yeah. You busted that pocket way open. So now there's a bunch of
I'm
them.
telling you,
Man.
it's really weird. The fucking helicopter and
That's
airplanes are just crashing. all
Planes
the time.
glide. So a helicopter
Right.
here in an air pocket, that's really scary because
Right.
you don't really glide too much with a
Yeah.
helicopter.
Look at a bird.
Yeah. Like it
You
just
know?
drops.
It
So.
loses one wings. One
That
of
is
its
scary.
wings, it's gonna go down.
That's great.
A little
That's
slow.
great. Yeah, I've never been on a helicopter. That's something I've never really messed with. I don't think I really don't have a desire to be on a helicopter,
Oh,
actually.
cool as fuck.
Yeah, well, I don't think I have a desire. Like, I don't want
I did the one at
like a touristy one?
Gatlinburg. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you went up in the mountains.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want to go in the
Those are
mountains.
the worst ones.
Yeah, I was going to say,
though.
I'd be the one that's like,
That's what
that
I'm
would be,
saying.
Yeah.
These are military
Yeah.
helicopters
Right.
that are going down.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, no lie.
And that's pretty crazy.
And even, to share my plane story, one of the things that I did, this year we did a video for our YouTube series, and we were in Indiana, and we flew up, and we checked out Jasper, Indiana. We did the Strassafest video. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. Strassafest is awesome. It's coming up back around again in August. Can't wait to go up this year. We're going to be doing another film. But on the way back, something very weird happened. First of all, I don't fly too much in that late August, September era. But when we came back, there was a hurricane, full out hurricane going on in Florida. They canceled all the flights that were heading to Florida, except, hear this, except our flight. And I found out why our flight wasn't canceled. Why do you think they didn't cancel our flight? I'll give you a lucky guess. So come to find out, we're sitting at the airport, and it's, they delayed it by like 3 hours, which that's a big deal. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden we see like 6 or 7 pilots come running down the airport.
Right.
These 6 air pilots were literally living in Florida and wanted to get home to their family before the hurricane. That's the only reason why we had a flight to Florida.
Wow.
What I didn't know was when we were flying home that we were going to literally be landing in crosswinds of 60 to 70 miles per hour. And when we come into Sanford, Florida, first of all, we're not talking about huge 747 jet. It was intense, to say the least. Like, when you're about to land and everybody has that butt puckering moment right before you land, and you're like, everybody's praying. Like, even if you don't know Jesus, you're over here like, oh my God, Lord, don't
The
die.
pilot said, hold my beer.
Yeah, right.
We're going to figure this out.
It was crazy. And we were coming down, and when we came down, it was the longest airtime I've ever had. And what I mean by that is, how like when you're about to land, you see the land, you see the runway, and you're just waiting to touch, and it's not touching, and it's just going, and it's going. I'm like, are we going to hit this damn plane? Like, what's going to happen? Are we going to land before we have enough space at the end of this thing? And all of a sudden it finally hit, and I have never stopped so fast. Like, my face was literally in the chair in front of me. Like, it was boom, that quick. And everybody was like sighing in relief, but we got in here, man. But it was one of the scariest moments. I definitely don't advise to fly in a hurricane, because that was definitely one of the scarier parts of it all.
He said, Brandy, hold my beer. We're going to land
it
this
was
bitch,
something, man.
whether
Like
they
I said,
want us to or not.
The good news was there was like 6 pilots. So if one of them, passed out, we had 5 other choices. So that was the good news about it. But it was definitely intense. I don't know what I would do without that, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm all about traveling, and let's talk a little bit about Colorado. Matt's he's living in Colorado. What city do you said you lived in now?
It's called Salida or Salida, depending on who you ask.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I could say that. All right, so Colorado. So what do you like Colorado so much? What's up there? I know it's nature, right? So tell me a little bit about your Colorado background up there.
Colorado is everything that the Midwest isn't. I don't know how else to put it like that. We don't have humidity. I've had like 3 mosquito bites in 3 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and there's everything outdoors.
You probably got that as soon as you got off the airplane here.
Yeah, I'm already tore up. So
Yeah.
yep. So
They love that white skin.
But there's everything up there. I like whitewater rafting a lot, fly fishing, mountain biking, side by sides. If it's outdoors, you can find it in Colorado.
That's like the best outdoors place to go. That's like outdoor vacation heaven.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Yes. When we lived in Colorado Springs, I actually counted it up, and they have over 200 city parks within that city. 200,
Oh, wow.
200 and acres of them, like hundreds of acres of parks. So
Oh, that's cool.
yes.
See, I like that. I mean, and if you're somebody who does water rafting, I've never done that. I'm going to have to do that. And I did make a promise to Matt. I would head up to Colorado this time around. I'm probably going to do that. I want to check that out. That'd be fun. I know, like fishing, you said fishing's a big thing up there, right?
Yes.
Something in Florida, and unless you're like you like to go into the ocean and fish, fishing in Florida isn't quite the same as it is in Indiana. Indiana, we were able to fish. You had bass fishing. It was really awesome. And almost all the lakes were really, really stocked. Florida, with the gators and everything else, I don't know. Maybe it was just, I don't know. Fish don't like Florida.
There's just not as much...
especially bigger fish. Everything's always so small.
There's not as much bigger fish because, number one, you have the gators, right?
Right.
That come in there.
And maybe that's what it is.
But on top of that, if you go into the ocean shit...
Yeah, no, you got a whole...
You go out on the pier.
Yeah. You got a great white shark.
You have...
Throw out 150 testing line and the brake snaps, and you're like,
yeah,
whatever that was,
you
wasn't
don't have
coming
a
home.
lot of luck as far as catching...
No. And it's weird how life... Oh, that's a good question, though. How does licensing work in Colorado? Do you get a fishing license or is it like an everything license?
It's pretty much about like everywhere else. You can get a fishing license, hunting license. If you're 100% disabled vet, you get it all for free.
That's cool.
And
Well deserved too. Yeah.
yeah, but it's pretty simple. They treat their outdoor environment like it's an investment for them. They
Yeah.
take care of.
I mean,
it.
that's their tourists. That's
Yeah,
that's the thing that brings people there. Because when I think of Colorado, my first thought is snowing, and I think of skiing.
Yep.
Like skiing is probably a huge portion of that. And how beautiful is that? Like going
Right.
skiing. Have you ever been skiing up there?
No, I haven't got to go skiing yet.
I have.
See, yeah, I'm seeing. I feel like I'm
I-
kind of too old for that. You been skiing up there in Colorado?
Aspen? Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow,
Because my
I forgot. I'm talking to the two richest guys in the world here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But my work paid for
I
it.
just go back from Aspen.
I went to Aspen, and then I went to, what's the other one? Vail.
Yeah.
Wow,
Went to
man,
those two.
like was it snowboarding or skiing? Because you used to kind of snowboard, right, back in the day.
I did snowboard.
You kind of look like
and
one of those guys with snowboard.
I
It's like
snowboarded.
two of them. I just need one, man.
I snowboarded in Indiana.
Right. Good old Paoli Peaks.
Yeah, Paoli Peaks.
Paoli.
Way
Big
different.
shout out. Hashtag Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag Indiana.
Yeah.
They were great. Love them for what they were. But
Yeah. Grab those big old floats. Take them
I
up there.
actually started a snowboarding like what do you call it? Like snowboarding.
Cult.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's like become a snowboarder today. Sign off your life. Like how do you? Okay, first of all, take it from somebody. I didn't even do skateboards. I was not a skater boy. I was none of that crap, right? So when I'm thinking to myself, I could probably handle 2 skis. Is it harder with one or is it harder with 2 skis?
I think snowboarding is easier.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's harder.
You think it would be harder?
Yeah, I find it harder than trying to ski.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's what it's all about, man. It's having a different opinion. It's like
Yeah, it's all an individual.
I'm top heavy, so like when I'm trying to do anything like that, I'm like always scared I'm going to fall forward, which is always.
Well, we got tubing for that.
Yeah, no, I'm a tuber. I would
Lots of
sure
tubing.
take one of them up there. Give me some big old. I'd get me one of those like giant ones that you would just like go swimming with, and I would stick
Dude,
that sucker up
I
there.
can, like I said, I can tear up Paoli Peaks, and then they have their new like little thing with the tubes.
Mm-hmm.
That thing's fun too.
Oh, I bet so. And now they're getting bigger. Like you can get multiple people in some of them, right? Like you can.
You can do 2.
That's awesome.
You can scoot down. It's like,
So it gets down to the end the fastest.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. And in Paoli Peaks, they do have the ski lift that takes you back up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. See, I would never do a place that I have to walk back up. See, Indiana, when we would do that in Huntingburg, you'd go down once or twice, and by that third time, you're like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not walking back up again.
yeah.
It's just too much walking for me."
You're talking about the
Yeah, like if you
hill
go
on
out to like
Salem?
if you go out there and you just like find the biggest hill you got and you're going crazy and there's no guide. Like you just jump on it and see where you land. Like you just see where it goes, and sometimes it goes into a car, sometimes it goes in a car, sometimes it goes into a truck lane or something. Like that. Next thing you know, you're in a ditch, right? And like you put your foot out and you think you're on snow and you end up going through about 4 inches of snow and about 3 inches of ice water. And I've had that happen a couple times. So.
Right, and you're up by the water tower, or you're by Salem Church.
Yeah, those two the best spots in Huntingburg.
Yeah. And you just be like, "Woo!"
Yeah, those were the good ones right there. Definitely like that. All right, well, Colorado's be definitely on my list. I mean, if we want to talk about like where you're going and stuff like that. So I think, they have that's the best of the Rockies, right? Like
Yep.
Colorado is the best of the Rockies. And I know that, up there, they're kind of also, the big thing is back when they had the gold rush and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and you were talking to me a little bit off air about how awesome the history there is, right?
It's really wild and interesting. Colorado was actually a major part of the war effort, like all the steel, all the stuff.
Makes sense, yeah, because it's
Yeah,
kind of
all-
centrally located there.
Yeah, it all went into the mountains, and there's just ghost towns everywhere. There's a place up the road called St. Elmo. They built in the late 1800s, so it's all carted in by donkeys. And then
Man.
there was a gold dredge over the peak on the other side. Like, so these guys built a gold dredge in the middle of the Rocky Mountains in the 1800s to look for gold.
Jesus.
That's neat.
That is awesome. I mean, that's like a lot of history. Indiana, we don't really have that much history. It's like the history of corn. That's pretty much what we had. And then, more corn. And then, Herbs Fest. That's what we had. I would say that if we looked at Colorado, another thing that I find really fascinating was you were talking about the brothels. Like the brothels. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You said there's tours. Like we've been to St. Augustine where you have the ghost tour.
Mm-hmm.
You said they have a tour for brothels.
Yeah,
up there, right?
there's ghost tours, brothel tours. Like everywhere you go, all that old. That's what those were. Like
That's
you go
so
in and
awesome.
sit in a pizza place, and then you look around. There's like there's hookers over there 100 years ago having a good time.
Pictures of hookers. You're like,
Yeah,
damn. I'll take the number 9. That's.
She doesn't look as good as I thought she would.
I'll take the number 9 with 2 slices of pizza, please. Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
F Street and Salida advertises that one of the big stores has like there's a woman. It's called "My Life as a Hooker." It's right there in the window, so they're proud of their history.
Yeah, it
They-
makes sense because
yeah.
that is, I think a lot of the times when we see the stuff that's history bent like that, we've always been taught that stuff is just so wrong, right? So we're drilled into that, and schooling today is even different than what it was when we went to school. And how we looked at that stuff, but going back and seeing a culture and seeing the history at places like that, it brings you back. And even when I went back to Indiana this last time, I'd seen that they'd put a schoolhouse and stuff near the square, and it was cool because it was never there before. And I'm sitting there, and I had some friends and family with me, and I made a comment that wasn't there when I left. And they're like, "Yeah, it was there." I know that's definitely not there. Like I would know if that old school from like 1800, I would know it would be there if I was here before. I know it wasn't there. So we walked up to it, and sure enough, it had been moved from a whole other city and put there in Jasper. So I think history on that stuff is freaking awesome. I mean, I think that's the big part of it, and growing into that. And another thing too, going back to Colorado, a big part of I think Colorado would just be checking out like the old. I'm sure there's like all kinds of old time shops and places like that downtown. And when we come back from Huntingburg, man, that's downtown was like 4th Street was like the old school, old shopping just district, like straight up.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Touch of class, all that stuff.
We went to Granby, Colorado, right? It's like 30 minutes from Estes, I think it's called.
Yeah, Estes Park.
The hotel that The Shining was filmed at.
Oh man.
So
Wow.
that was a really cool thing to like go and see. We could go there, but at the time it was COVID, so
Right.
we
Yeah.
couldn't go in.
COVID screwed
all that
everything up
stuff.
for a while.
Yeah, it kind of messed everything up, but that was great. And then that whole area, super nice. Like, if you ever been to Cades Cove in Tennessee, same thing.
Like up in
Like-
Colorado.
Yeah, you can drive these roads and just
See all the
see
natural.
elk and
See, that's what I like
air
about it. Like, I think that
and-
drive itself would be just soothing and kind of relaxing. And I think we mentioned that last night. Sometimes when
Yeah.
you're driving those places, there is a lot of turning left and right. So I do know how that kind of goes.
Yeah.
So with that, you just got to learn how to drive in the mountains.
if
and you gotta be
you're not
comfortable with
afraid of
that.
heights,
Yeah.
that's the one thing, because I will say they do not have guardrails.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Like when you're driving around Colorado, is
Dude,
it's
it's-
just narrow roads, or is it standard size roads? You just got to be
They're
careful.
standard size roads, but
How are you about driving
It's crazy.
Colorado?
It took a little bit of adjusting, and often it depends on where you're going. Some roads have guardrails, some don't, and then
Right.
some of it's just about your comfort level.
Yeah,
I have a
the-
little thing with heights, so you get some of these places. Like I went to one place. I'll show you pictures, and you'll be like, "I'm good." Like it's
I'll tell you though, like Rocky Mountain Highway, I think it's called Rocky Mountain Highway. That one got me a little bit.
Just scary and just kind of like the way it is.
Yeah, like Candy had to like put her head down.
Right. Because it makes you nervous.
And I was
Did you
like-
drive it during the day or at night?
Yeah, we did during the day.
Could you imagine doing it at night? Do you
But-
drive at night, Matt?
Not as much.
Yeah.
We're old.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm too old to be driving at night for sure, especially in the mountains.
What do you mean you're old?
I'd be way too old for that one.
Yeah, it's
Once you hit 40, you don't drive after 7 p.m.
yeah,
That's the rule.
yeah.
That's the rule. Unless you're life or death situation, you gotta go to like ER or something.
My mom is doing the same shit.
And then you ask yourself, it's like, do I want to go to the ER? Do I want to pay $5,000 for the ambulance, or do I want to take a chance and crashing on the way to the hospital?
Yeah, but that's the difference. My mom would be like, "No, I'll be okay," and then the next thing she'll be like, "What's going on? Oh, that? Yeah, you need to go to the hospital."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, at a certain age, you stop doing it.
Yeah.
Unless you can't feel it anymore, you don't.
Yeah.
If my leg, I can't feel it anymore,
I'm
then
doing
you're
that.
concerned. It's like, well, you've been walking on it for about 20 minutes and you still can't feel it. Yeah, you probably should go to the hospital.
Yeah, I'm to the point of like, yeah, we can just cut it off.
Yeah, no, you know one thing, and that's crazy, and that kind of leads to another thing about I want to kind of discuss. But
Yeah.
man, when you hit 40, right, and you're getting close, Brandon.
Getting very close.
But when you hit 40, everything hurts so much easier. Like, like when, for instance, when I was 20, I would run for like, I'm not going to lie to you. I wouldn't run for a mile because, I ain't going to do that. But like I would run for like a quarter mile, and then my hip and you had that sharp pain, right? In your side. And it's like, oh, I'm breathing hard or whatever. I have that when I walk up 2 steps now. Like just a step.
Yeah.
It's just a step up to the apartment. And I'm like,
You're like,
I'm done.
diaphragm's like,
Dude.
Let's just fucking check out.
yeah, So I'm gonna be down here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes you do. But I think getting old is, I mean, what do you think of, what's your perspective now versus when you said someone's old? Like when I was 20 and someone said they were 45, I'm like, they're old. Grandpa was really old, like knew Jesus old, right? But you look at somebody that's 40. Here, you guys are near your 40s. Some of us are almost 44 or 45, 30, 43, something like that. But when we're there, what's old for us? What do you feel like old is?
I feel like our age is appropriately old right now.
So you feel like 40-ish?
Yeah,
See, and
you feel old.
Okay,
Yeah.
I completely disagree with that.
So, okay, what do you feel like it?
So-
okay, yeah.
So
4 years,
find
buddy.
I
Just
find
FYI,
I know,
4 more years.
I know.
Yeah.
But I find it crazy because it's like,
You're turning that curve right now, by the way.
I know.
Almost to that 40.
Yeah.
Just remember karma
But
before you
like-
speak.
Yeah.
Karma.
If you
Remember.
speak it into existence,
No,
go
no.
ahead.
No. But I'm just saying, like, my mom and dad, like, I remember them being this age.
Right. And did you feel like they were
didn't
old?
feel like I didn't feel like they were old.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But now I'm like, here.
Right. And imagine
that age,
you
right.
dealing with you
Right.
at that age.
Right. I stole a vehicle, ran around town.
Oh my gosh.
like,
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yeah. No, that's like to be Brandon. Jesus. That is some crazy lifestyle right there.
I did do
This kid
I did do crazy stuff.
stole hit. Okay, stealing is a hard word. This
wasn't
kid went to go search for his parents because I don't know. Some guy was watching him. I forget who it was. But it might have been me. So anyway, he was at his house, right? And then I remember leaving because they were at Walmart. Shout out to Walmart. And it's about a 30-minute drive at max. It's like taking the sweet time, side roads, hit every stoplight, 30 minutes max. So I took a Brandon. I was like, listen. And Brandon was what? How old were you? Probably. What was the age?
10.
Okay. So 10. Okay. So
10 years old.
10 years. I mean, when I was 10, I stayed home by myself. I didn't like it, but I stayed home by myself. Right. That was a part of it. Right. I sure as hell didn't go and jump in my dad's truck at 10 years old to go look for my parents.
No.
Right.
No.
Correct.
That was a decision that my mind was like, nope.
Yeah.
What made you do that?
I don't know. I think
You jumped in a truck
I know,
at 10.
but I think I was more of a person that thought about them being hurt.
So you're like scared. You're like,
Yeah.
where are they at? I mean, I could
thought
see
they
that.
may have died or something.
Right.
So
Because it had been, what, 40 minutes instead of 30? I mean, let's
no,
be
no,
like,
it
let's
was-
be. The
Mom's-
time frame is not off, by the
No,
way.
Mom said it was like 2 hours.
Well, that was their fault. Who takes 2 hours at Walmart?
Well, they didn't. They said they drove to see the leaves, like autumn leaves, on the way down to
Well, they should have
Louisville
been better.
And then turned around.
They said Walmart. So I'm thinking Walmart run 20,
Yeah.
30 minutes.
No, I get.
Now looking back, that's
I
kind of
get
an
it.
asshole
I get
move on
what
my
you're
part.
saying, and then that's exactly what my mom
You know,
says.
if
She's
we
like-
would have had cell
she's
phones back
like, well,
then.
Jeff was a real fucking prick.
Yeah, no, I'll take the heat on that one. So, if we would have had phones back then, it would have been the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Brandon would have had we would have sent out a flash alert. A
Yeah,
kid was
if we had-
kidnapped by himself.
At that
And-
time, we had pagers.
Yeah, I do remember the pagers. Those were awesome. I had a pager. Like, it wasn't mine. I actually stole it. I believe I took it from your father. So I had a pager right at prom.
Yeah.
Like, who has a pager at prom? That's just crazy. Everybody thought it was like, oh, this guy's cool. And like the whole time I'm thinking about it and I'm looking around, like if it had been another city in another state, I'd have been a drug dealer. That's what I would have been.
Pretty much.
I didn't know that. Like, I'm just like, cool, pager. No, I'm not associated to an 18-year-old kid.
They'd be
Definitely.
like, hey, bro, what you got?
Right. I see your pager on.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think that, kind of going to that age and hitting that certain age really, how old is old? Like for me, when I'm thinking I'm at 40, Matt says I'm 44. If I'm almost 44 and I look at that and I'm thinking to myself, if 44 isn't old, is 50 old? Is 55 old?
So see, I don't understand that. Like, I understand like 55, 45, whatever can be old. The thing is, like,
Is old after retirement?
well, yeah, I think so. But
Well, shit, I'm
I
going to be
think-
90
I think-
then.
I think that
Because my age group's going to retire at like 90.
I
Be
think
working forever.
I think that's what's weird is like we grew up going and doing anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could
Yeah, you could like
I
let it
could-
go
I
wherever
could
for
bike-
hours.
I could
yeah.
bike 7 miles.
Yeah.
My kids are.
I mean, I
my
didn't. That's a
parents
long.
were
That's a
like,
long. But I would go there and
kids-
use their house phone and call my mom to come pick me up. That's what I
Yeah.
would do.
Nice.
Yeah, and they'd
Yeah, I
be
wasn't
like, hey,
biking
you
7
need-
miles. That's for damn sure.
Well, I mean, I would like. I had friends.
Yeah, I didn't have
Well, it was
friends.
a little
That's-
more popular, but
yeah. hmm Yeah.
but I think that like that was weird to me because like nowadays
And would you let your kid?
no.
Would you let your kid drive to the end of the street?
I have a 10-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy. And
Would
I
they do
would
it? So have
I
we-
would never let them leave the house without them being in my eyesight.
Right.
Like-
So that's another thing too. Like, why do you think that is? Do you think it's our age group? Like we
Yes.
were like, man, my parents were bad. Like they let me do whatever.
I don't.
Or did we do stuff that was so bad that we feel guilty about, and now we're like, my kid will never get that opportunity? Like, what do you think?
So I don't think it was bad. I think that parenting at that time, it wasn't that like important. I guess you know what I mean. Like I know that sounds bad.
That sounds really bad, dude.
I know.
It's like, I mean, it's not important to be a parent and all.
bad.
Just
I know it
they're
sounds
just
bad,
tax collectible
but
kids.
I swear
That's
to
all.
God, like I swear to God, though, like
Oh, it's
I
funny.
don't know how to explain it.
Right.
Like, my parents literally.
I mean,
would
was
be
it a
like-
trust? Like, do you think your parents
they
just
would
trust you?
They would let my kids right now.
They would let your kids do it. So you think it's just that age group, them?
They'd be like, go ride a bike for a couple hours.
So if they went to grandma's house right now, grandma's like, get on a bike, take my old ass person bike, with the big banana seat, take that out,
Yeah.
and ride it down to and they would let them do it. You think that would happen?
Probably not from mom.
Okay,
Probably
well,
from her boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, okay. So maybe it is that group, that generation
Right. But what I'm saying is,
Who didn't
like,
care.
To me, that's crazy.
at all about their kids.
No, I swear to God.
No, it does. It
that's
feels
what
like looking
like.
back in hindsight.
Like-
yeah. Like my parents, man, they were like trash. Like, and I, like, it's like,
Dude, I remember Grandma and Grandpa. Like,
Right. Like looking
So,
back,
like-
it's like, man, they did did they know I was living there still? Like, I don't even know if they knew that.
Oh,
like they
yeah,
left.
They're just like,
Yeah, they left
did
like the
he-
food on the table. I'm like, are they
Did
just
he move off to a different
right?
area?
Yeah. Like they wouldn't have. I wouldn't have known anything. That's the strange part about it, man.
Yeah, I'm just sorry, but like, it's just
All right. So if you had a point and say it was an age,
yeah.
you know, what would age be to you right now at 30 something? What's the age of old for you?
Old was whenever I felt old. 30 was old for me.
Okay. And what about you, Matt?
Felt old.
What do you feel like? What is old? Is it now, or
No,
was there a certain group that you just hit? Like when you hurt 38, 36, 35?
I'd
Like,
say about 30s. It usually happens when you start slowing down and not moving as much. That's when the crunches and
Right.
creaking and all that.
and sometimes that, you know,
You know,
and for me, to me, old is 55.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm getting there. And, you know, according to Matt, I'm like 11 years away. But, you know, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting there. But at the same time, I feel like, unlike my parents, you know, I feel like I'm a better part of my life. Like at my age is definitely different than my dad at my age, if that makes sense.
yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of today's society and how we do things and how we know more about our health and we do stuff that is smart and we're athletically walking out. And, you know, we do a theme parks a lot. We travel. So we do a lot of walking. Like we went this last week and a half, I did 44,000 steps over a 3-day period.
Nice.
Right.
That's a crazy amount, right?
Yeah.
I don't think my dad did that the whole year. Like that's a year's worth for him. So for me, I feel like that's part of it. And I think the more that we actually, the older you get, the more stuff you continuously doing. And it's kind of like to Matt's point earlier, we were talking, it's like you have to continue doing stuff. If once you stop, then it's harder to continue.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is very
the
true.
big thing that I say is like if you're sedimentary, which just means you're not doing anything.
Right. Just standing,
Yeah.
station.
If you don't do anything,
Yeah.
it's the worst thing you
Right.
can do for your health.
You know, and that's why I say when people get sick and they're down and they stay down, that's when the worst parts of it happen. So it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think the 55 is kind of the group that I'm looking for. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't feel quite as old as I probably should feel. You know, some of that's just wishful thinking and thinking that one day I'm just going to be able to jump and go run another mile or whatever. I am doing, you know, I am doing 5K walks now. So
Nice.
that's something that's kind of we do for breast cancer every year. But, you know, I think just being active like that and hopefully within, you know, if, in a couple years when I do turn 44, I'll feel pretty good about it. So nonetheless, hey guys, I think we're going to call it out on this one. I appreciate you guys staying tuned for us. Welcome to season 3 of A Blast from the Past. I know it's going to be awesome. We'll see you guys next time. Guys, say hello and say goodbye.
Have a good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
And just like that, it's all in the past. Thanks for surviving another trip down memory lane with us. This is Jeff Holmes, and you've been listening to the Blast from the Past podcast. See you next time.